Al was talking about editing the other podcast, he's like, I figured out a really easy way to find out where we start. And it's like he just looks for when the audio levels spike because Ben's voice. I was cracking up. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm like, that's so perfect because he's like, he's like, it's right there. That's where it is. He's like, I don't need timestamps anymore. What's up, everybody, and welcome to the Optimistic Underdog podcast, where we talk about official sports news with unofficial sports people. I have one of my favorite guests back on with me today, because it is March Madness.
Woohoo!
You know her, you love her. It's Miss McKenna. What is up, Mac?
Oh, I'm so happy to be back.
Well, obviously, we have you back again for the end of March. We had you on at the beginning of the month to talk some FCF, and then again to see what you've learned. And now we've wrapped up the season. So we want to talk about, just how you feel at the end of the season. So let's talk.
Yes, let's.
So we had a great final game of the season. Glacier Boys versus the Wild Aces. If you haven't seen a great video by one Mr. Matt Batson, where you may have seen some familiar faces in that video, but you should check that out because he does do some great stuff. But
Yes.
We had a great final game between the Wild Aces and the Glacier Boys. So, Mac, what do you think about that game?
Oh, exhilarating. Oh my gosh. Football, man, like I never thought I would be so excited about a football game, but here we are. When we won, my mom was like in the hallway. I like jumped on her, and like my they were like, "Who are you?" Like my family was like, "Who? You? Me? You like sports now? What?" They were so confused about how much I'm into this now, but oh, so good, so good.
It was. And that game, I don't think you could have written a better ending. Winning the game in the final play, not even the final second, the final play of the game. You can't, it doesn't come any better than that. And it was a great game. It was a great game by both teams. And I don't think that was something we expected, honestly. But it was perfect. It was perfect. You couldn't have asked for that. That is what playoff sports is about too, which is great. It's that edge of your seat. Just, I know a bunch of us were watching it together like we do, and I was kind of, just going like this, grabbing my seat, going like this, up with the blanket. I was sending you messages like we all got in trouble for this, and we are all doing that, and it was crazy. It was so much fun though, and I know I'm pretty sure I pulled my headphones out when we made that final play because I know everybody was yelling. I know I was yelling. I hid this a little bit. It was good fun. But what a game. What a game. And yeah.
It's insane.
I love seeing you a football fan now, though. It's so much fun. Just from, where we were a month ago, learning about football and learning about the FCF. Like I said, even in that episode, I knew your standard football. I didn't know FCF football, and it's just so much fun. I can't wait to see where this game takes us. It's gonna be a blast.
I am so excited for season 2. Hopefully it's soon.
Yep.
Oh my gosh.
You know what? We usually push this segment to the second half, but let's just get into it now. So what you're excited for? Obviously, we had V1.0. Let's go to V2.0. Let's do it. I'm so ready.
Yes, I bring it back. Never in my life did I think I would say bring back football. But here we are once again. I like it's a combination of learning the sport as well as just getting to hang out with my friends and learn along with them. It's just so cool to me. It makes me so happy. It brings me such joy. But yeah,
it is. It's great. And I think it really, I know it brought in kind of a different dynamic to a friend group, which is
Mhm.
great. And I got to hang out with people I normally don't get to spend time with, which is fantastic.
Mhm.
I know we all say spend time together, which, is just us all sitting in front of our webcams with their microphones talking on a computer. But hey, that's what we got, and we're going to
Mhm.
have fun while we do it, right?
Oh, absolutely.
And I know that there's been discussions of them upping teams for next season, which would be cool. More
Mhm.
games would be awesome. But I need more excuses to wear my B Dunks jersey as soon as it gets here.
Oh my gosh,
So,
yes.
I
Yes.
mean, that's what I'm ready for. But also, I think that I've watched the football, and I've
Mhm.
watched those, and they're not as exciting as this is.
Mhm.
They're really not. And I love this. And it would be great to see some of these guys possibly get picked up by teams, wouldn't it? Just
That would be awesome.
some of these guys that have done great in this league. I mean, heck, I'm probably going to remember some of these names better than I remember regular football players' names, honestly.
Mhm.
Let's be fair.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
And I think between their attitudes, their drive, and, honestly, their personality, heck, I would love to see some of these guys on some football teams.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
NFL, pay attention. Come on now. Some of
Yes.
these guys deserve a spot somewhere, even if it's practice squad. Come on now.
Come
Let's
on.
go.
Yes.
Because that's where it all starts, anyways. So,
Exactly. Exactly.
it would be great to see. But also, I don't want to lose them either. I want to see them play some
I
more too.
know.
I like watching these guys.
I want them to grow, but at the same time, I want to keep them close.
It was awesome. Actually, I liked watching this because I didn't know where a lot of these tryouts were for some of, the players. And actually, they held tryouts in Pittsburgh last year,
Oh
which
wow.
was, I was just like, hey, look, that's me. Like, that's so cool. Like, and actually, some of the guys who played for the Wild Aces, came from the Pittsburgh, when they were doing stuff in Pittsburgh. So it's pretty cool.
Oh my
So,
gosh.
it's so much fun, and it's fun to see. Like I said, even that night, just scrolling through Twitter, seeing
Mhm.
how many people actually were watching the game. Like,
Yeah.
we had our group of 14, 15 people watching it, but just to see how many people were actually watching it was awesome. Just to
Mhm.
see how much popularity it really has picked up, even in a community like ours that is mostly, fans of video games
Mhm.
and entertainment, not really necessarily sports. So I think that is, kind of cool. So
Mhm.
it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, I love it. Oh my gosh. I love that we all have like I don't know, it's just so cool just having this thing that we can all like learn together. I don't know, I said that before, but it's just so fun and like we get to learn off of each other and oh, it just
and
warms my heart.
and I think really what really brings it together is that interaction that
Mhm.
we have not only with each other but with the game.
Mhm.
We get to vote on the plays. We get to vote, even if some of the votes don't count as much as others. Was that a touchdown?
Mhm.
I think it might have been, but he doesn't. So, but
Mhm.
hey, it's still that point where you actually get to have input, and they actually listen. Hey, I don't like that rule. Maybe we should think about reworking it just a little bit. Okay, yeah, let's talk about that. It's it's even at its, earliest stages, really taking into account that, fan controlled part, which is great, and not everyone's going to like every change, just like everything else. But it's still that they're listening, which is great. And you can
Mhm.
see that. And I think that's really the biggest part. And I love it. So here's to hoping that it continues. Here's to hoping
Yes.
we can keep making goofy videos because I have
Mhm.
so much fun doing it.
Oh my gosh,
Um,
yeah.
and here's to hoping to more late Saturday nights hanging out in Discord with our friends,
Mhm.
talking about who knows what and watching some football. So
Yes. Yes.
great. Well, I also have a story that I want to talk about because this happened this week in the hockey world, and it was interesting. So we have Tim Peel, referee for quite some time, was reffing a game. The Nashville Predators versus the Detroit Red Wings. And his mic was unfortunately on when he made an unfortunate comment. He had made a call against Victor Arvidsson for tripping. It was kind of a weak call. I mean, I don't know if I would have called that one, but hey, you can call it tripping if you want to. And I'm going to censor myself here for a second. There wasn't much, but I wanted to get a beep penalty against Nashville early in the before his microphone cut out. Obviously, we know what the beep was, but this is what he said, presumably talking to another one of the refs, which caused quite an uproar. The next day, the NHL didn't take too long to relieve Peel of his assignments for the rest of the season. Now, they didn't fire him. That was not the words that they used. He was supposed to retire at the end of the season, so I do believe his last game was actually meant to be April 12th. Now, for any referee retiring, they typically pick a regular season game to retire on so that they can have, friends, family, do the whole shebang thing for retiring, because they don't want to do that during a playoff series because who knows when they end. And so they kind of just told him, yeah, you're not reffing anymore ever again. You're done. No more. You're done. So, as someone who doesn't watch hockey, we've talked about this before, and we're going to teach you hockey next. That's your next one on the list. I just want to know, what do you kind of think about this? So this is obviously, he says he just wants to get a penalty in early. It was kind of a weak call, obviously. What do you think?
Immediately what comes to mind is, like, how many other times has he done this? Like, this is his first time getting caught, and he's at the end of his retirement. I don't know how long he's been reffing for, but I imagine this might not be the first time, but that's what came to my mind.
So the actual statement from NHL is that National Hockey League Senior Executive Vice President of Hockey Operations Colin Campbell announced today, this was March 24th, at 9:35, which is when this was released, that referee Tim Peel, following his comments during the game last night between the Detroit Red Wings and Nashville Predators, no longer will be working NHL games now or in the future. Quote, nothing is more important than ensuring the integrity of our game, Campbell said. Tim Peel's conduct is in direct contradiction to the adherence to the cornerstone principle that we demand of our officials and that our fans, players, coaches, and all those associated with our game expect and deserve. There is no justification for his comments, no matter the context or his intention, and the National Hockey League will take any and all steps necessary to protect the integrity of our game. End quote. So that's a pretty harsh statement. But like you said, how many of these calls has he made? He has been, and like I said, he's a veteran of more than 1,300 games.
Wow.
So that's a lot of games. I mean, that's a name. There's not many names of referees that most people know by hearing. Tim Peel was one of those names you knew. You just, like, when I heard Tim Peel had something happen to him, like, you knew who he was. And there aren't many referees that are like that. Like, most of them, you don't know their names. So, and actually, the one who was reffing with him, Kelly Sutherland, is another one. He's been around a long time. He's another name you just know. Like, if you watch hockey, you know that referee's name. And, yeah, it's just, like you said, how many of these calls are made? Now, a lot of times in games, you kind of see what a lot of people call the makeup call. So this is, all right, did he miss a call earlier that he's like, yeah, I should have got that. I'm going to call this weak penalty here, and that'll call it even. Now, that's like a unspoken rule kind of thing that everyone kind of knows it happens, but no one talks about it, and no one gets caught until Tim Peel. So, it's something, and like they said, you want to keep the integrity in the game. And I was listening to a couple of the gentlemen who work for The Athletic, which is a sports publication, do a podcast earlier this week. You want to see the games called the right way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, but you're going to see the makeup calls because they happen. Because, heck, even in the Penguins game the other night, one of our guys smacked the other dude in the face with his stick. He got a cut. Like, obviously, he didn't go whack on purpose, but it happened. Mm-hmm. It was a high stick call, and it should have been a 4-minute minor, but it totally got missed. It happens. Calls get missed, and I mean, they called a pretty weak hooking call against us 2 minutes later, which, okay, fine, yeah, that was probably the makeup call. It happens, and we see these things. But again, I didn't see the whole game between the Predators and the Red Wings, so I don't know if this was a makeup call or if he just was like, well, they're just going to call one early against Nashville because, that doesn't make sense to me. So yeah, it's an interesting thing, but also, again, like these guys were talking about earlier this week, you're not going to see these games early in the season called the same way that you're going to see a Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals. Those two games are going to be called completely different just because of the stakes. And yeah, it's interesting. But even, I know that one of the players on the Predators said something to the effect of, well, you know what, if we lost that game, and then what if we missed the playoffs by 2 points? That one call could have changed everything.
Wow. Yeah.
There's a lot of ifs and what happens and who knows, and I think it's just one of those things that you need to try to call the game as close as you possibly can call the game. Yeah, here it is. Matt Duchesne says that just can't happen, and he called Peel's actions bizarre. So, and he goes, imagine the scenario where they score on the power play and we lose the game and miss the playoffs by 1 point. That could happen, right? I've always been frustrated when I see even up calls like that. If one team is earning power plays, you can't punish them because they're playing well and the other team's not. That call was not a good call. We were watching and we were like, what the heck was that? That wasn't even close to a penalty. So, yep.
Wow.
So it's a difficult call, I think, but we'll see. Like I said, again, Peel's time is done. Mm-hmm. And this leads me into my funny sports story. Patreon shoutouts for this month are...
We have the one, the only, Kesselwinks. We also have the amazing Mr. Mac. And we have McKenna. Shout out to you amazing people. Now, Erica, where can people find these incredible people doing amazing things?
You can find Kesselwinks at Kesselwinks on Twitch and Twitter. Mr. Mac92 on Twitch and Twitter at the same name. And McKenna you can find at PotterPants212 on Twitter. And find her awesome work on Patch Notes over at YouTube and on podcast services.
Now, I hear with Patch Notes that it sounds like it's all the gaming news just in one short, concise video. Is that correct?
Absolutely is. It's definitely great, and you should all check it out.
Love it. Well, thank you to all you amazing, beautiful Patreon people. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for all the incredible support. We love you so much.
Thanks, guys. When I think of Tim Peel, though, I don't think about his officiating. I think about the time he was reffing a game between the St. Louis Blues and the Florida Panthers. There was a gentleman by the name of Bortuzzo who played for the Blues who shot the puck in from about the blue line. And Peel was standing about in the corner, probably right on the goal line about. And this puck hit him in a very precarious location. Oh, indeed. This puck hit him right in the crotch. Now, it hit him, and not only did it hit him, but it bounced right into the goal, right past the goaltender, and it counted as a goal. So, please don't remember Tim Peel for the terrible things he said on the microphone about this penalty against Nashville. please think of him for the time he scored that goal for the St. Louis Blues against the Florida Panthers. Thank you.
What a goal.
What a goal it was,
Wow.
indeed. It was beautiful. So, yep, that was a good time. Good times indeed. It was amazing. So awesome. All right. Well, coming up next week, we have something special. I'm going to have a special episode with Vitz Patel and Flora Jessie.
I know them.
Yes, you know them. And Vitz is going to teach Jessie and I about F1 racing. And I am so excited. I can't wait for you guys to see it. That is going to be next week's episode. So keep your eyes open for that. And it's going to be super cool. Because the first F1 race, well, was yesterday probably, I think, when this comes out. So it's cool. I'm sure someone won and it was a great race, hopefully. So, but awesome. Anyways, McKenna, please tell the people where they can find you and about the cool things you're doing right now.
Oh, you're right. You can find me on Twitter at PotterPants212. You can also find me over at Patch Notes on YouTube or at Patch Notes Vids on Twitter. We recently had a show come out, a new show called Megabyte, where we are going to try new foods. It just premiered last week. And we tried, my co-host and I, Caesar Towers, tried Big Mac for the first time. And that was an adventure.
I know that it's, we had a deal after Caesar had his first Big Mac. I have to have my first Big Mac now.
Yes! Do it!
So,
Do it!
We have to plan something because another friend of the show, Reese, he is the one who gets on the kick of everyone having to have a Big Mac. So he wants to have like a little party where we all have Big Macs together. So as soon as that gets planned, I'm sure there will be some kind of content somewhere for that. I don't know. It's weird. But yes. Anyways, you know where to find me. I'm Erica at Ambelina on Twitter and also at the OU Pod, where me and the boys talk about right now. New Girl, we're almost done with season 1. I cannot believe we're almost done with season 1, but we have so much cool stuff coming up and I cannot wait to share it all with you guys. I really, really hope you like it. Please make sure you subscribe to the YouTube. Tell your friends, tell your families, tell your neighbors, tell this postman. Ben wants to get to 100 subs before my birthday. I don't think that it's going to happen. So me and him have a bet. So we'll see what happens. But hey, if you hit a little bow, that just means he wins. And, you know, it also means I win too, but that's okay. So also don't forget to check out the Patreon if you would like. We do early access, Discord, all those cool things over there. Shout outs too on the main show. Maybe you'll hear McKenna's name on the shout outs a couple times too. Just
Me?
She's awesome. But until next time, keep it unofficial.